Thanks for your support as a channel member, Troy Newcomb. Well, folks, we've made it through to the end of the first season. The support on it has been fantastic. I have never done an entire season of a Football Manager save averaging like 3,000 likes a video like we have on this one, which is nuts. Thank you for the support. Glad you're enjoying it. Hope you continue to enjoy it. If you are new to the channel and not familiar with my transfer specials, this could be a long one. We're gonna bring in some players for our season in the National League, which I'm terrified about. So if we could hit 2,000 likes again on this video, that would be much appreciated. And let's go over our wage budget again, probably. Hello and welcome to part 10 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have our season review of our first season, our first awesome season. There you go, there's your review. And also we're going to be doing our summer transfers. Interestingly, to kick things off, my manager performance has dropped down to a B-. It was an A+, right up until the last day of the season. I mean, the last day of the season, obviously you didn't see that final match. It was just a 0-0 draw against Guiseley. We didn't play Marriott in that game. Why can't I scroll down? What is wrong with my fingers? We didn't play Adam Marriott. Basically, I was trying to decide if I wanted to renew the loans of either of these strikers to go into next season. And to be honest, I'm thinking I probably don't. Neither of them was scoring enough to even justify being ahead of this guy, really. George Danaher with his 12 goals for the season. So I'm probably not going to be renewing either of those loans. We'll look to bring in some fresh talent for next season. But yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed that we've dropped down to a C. Club Vision, particularly. How is this only a C? Because, yes, we play attacking football, we play possession football, we make the most of set pieces, we play high-tempo pressing football, we're within the wage budget, now it's been increased, and we got promoted. I think it's because they're already judging me on, right, we want mid-table in the National League. Even though the original 5-year plan was be challenging for the playoffs in the National League North by the end of 5 years, all of a sudden the fact that I overachieved last year is disregarded, which seems a little bit harsh. I mean, in fact, they've amended it now. By the end of the new 5-year plan, they want to be in League 2. Unrealistic expectations from the board there. But we have got our end of season awards and whatnot have come in. So let's have a look at these. Player of the season, as you would expect, is Alfie Payne. It is a top priority to try and get him back on loan for next season, or even try and sign him permanently, which is probably a little bit hopeful. I would suggest we're probably not going to get him permanently. We're probably not going to be able to afford him. So that's not ideal. Adam Marriott is here for our push in the National League, though. He's got a contract through to the end of this upcoming season. We do need to keep an eye on his age, but as long as he's scoring goals, then that's all right. And Aaron Jones with third place. And, of course, Aaron Jones already leaving us to go and play in Canada. Aaron Sibia got goal of the season for this goal against Maidenhead, which I think we put this match in a video. So we've probably I've definitely already seen this goal. I think you already have as well, but let's have a little look at it just to see what the best goal we scored in our promotion season was. There's Aaron Sibia to Marriott, back to Aaron Sibia again. I remember that goal. What a goal that was as well. Signing of the season, Jake Kenyon. He was our first signing. I said he'd be important, and he's turned out to be important. So his average rating's not perfect. I think that just illustrates his inconsistency because he's got 5 goals and 7 assists from left back. But he is obviously a little bit hit and miss with his form. Alfie Payne getting Young Player of the Year at age 20. Stats-wise, Adam Marriott, top goal scorer on 30 goals. Payne, highest average rating, 7.41, and most assists with 15, and best pass completion with 87%. It's fair to say Alfie Payne is too good for the National League North. Marriott got most man of the match awards with 11, and Jones was King Naughty Boy. Player of the Team of the Year, basically picks itself. Watkins in goal, a back three of Fryatt, McCauley and Smith, Kenyon and Jones as wing-backs, Clunan making it alongside Payne in that midfield. I think I'd have probably put Carter there myself, as I did repeatedly. Aaron Sibia in as the shadow striker ahead of Stevens and ahead of Carter, and then Danaher and Marriott up front. Seems very fair. we'll go back and have a look at the ratings in detail in a second and stuff, but that's our season review, just to confirm. We did massively overachieve. And I guess this is where we can have a little bit of negotiation. So is this all new stuff? This is new stuff that they've added in that I guess I can I take it out? Oh, negotiate. There we go. So, there you go. Now it does identify what's our new stuff. So, I mean, I don't mind being judged on all this stuff because we are doing it. Although moving up to a new division, are we going to be playing attacking football all year? This is the board's latest blueprint for the future. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind all that stuff. I guess if it's club culture, what they have done is taken out the sign under 23 players thing, which is interesting. But I wonder if we just remove that part, just because we're not going to play attacking football all the time. We'll probably still play possession football. We'll probably still be good at set pieces and play high tempo football, but sometimes we're going to want to just defend a bit. Work within the wage budget is still the key part of the 5-year plan. That mid-table this year is now the minimum expectation, even though it was previously, I mean, they actually only went 3 years into the future by the looks of it, but it was always about getting into the playoffs. So I don't expect to still be here in 5 years, so that part of it, I guess, isn't an issue. I do wonder if that should be taken out, but I'm more interested in taking out the attacking football thing. So have they agreed to that? There you go, we've taken out attacking football. Excellent. Well, I can live with that. Squad dynamics, Ryan Fryatt, team leader and all-time record appearance holder. End of season team meeting. So I guess we've got to be aiming for mid-table. So there we go. Congratulations, and let's do mid-table. They seem happy with that. Injury report. I love this screen. I've talked about this screen in the Manchester United save when we got to this point, because it shows how much of the season players have missed with injury. So Ben Falemi missed 4 months, but that was all before he arrived with us. But the important thing is, I think one of the reasons we had such a good season is because we stayed so injury-free. Aaron Sibia, 5 days injury is one of the worst injuries we had. I think that's going to come back and bite me in the backside in this coming season, because we can't have that kind of luck forever. Players are off on holiday, and then we'll just have a quick look at the LOLLUJO view over here, which needs auto-sizing. So if we have a look by average rating, I thought for a second then nobody was averaging over a 7. So you can see it's very much been the story of 2 players. Alfie Payne and Adam Marriott have been superstars. We are going to miss Aaron Jones. We need to bring in a new right wing back as a top priority. He was one of only 3 players averaging over a 7. He weighed in with 12 assists over the course of the season. Not quite as many as Payne, but we're potentially losing Payne as well. Kenyon's obviously still going to be here, as is Marriott. But with Carter potentially going back to his parent club, although I would like to keep him, but whether or not they'll let me have him because of the amount of times we've disagreed on his position. But there's 5 assists there, another 27 assists there. So that's potentially 32 assists that just leaving the club. And then if we sort by goals as well, the goal scorers are sticking around, but it's whether or not there's going to be people coming in to replace Payne and Jones and Carter who are going to create as many chances as we've had this season. You can see our best players by ability. It's largely the lone players and Jonathan Flatt, who probably needs to be given a chance to start as first choice goalkeeper next year, if for no other reason than the fact that he's a goalkeeper who could potentially be with us for the next 3, 4, 5 years, which is, I think, a good enough reason to give him some game time. These guys are all good. I think if I had to, I would probably look to bring Stevens and Payne back. Falemi and Kelman, not so much. Carter would be a nice one to have as well. And then potential-wise, again, it's all of the loanees. Sonny Carey, I think it's probably time to take him off of the transfer list. I had him transfer listed at a time when we just couldn't afford his £100 a week wages. But now we've got a little bit more money to play with. The fact that he is a youngster with some decent potential is reason enough to keep him around for a little while, maybe send him out on loan. And in fact, if we look at the development centre, you'll see that he is king of our ones to watch and has had a lovely little upward trajectory on his graph over the last season or so. I did mention in yesterday's video as well, youth intake. There are a couple of youth intake players who have been renamed as channel members, so these are ones to keep an eye on. Marius Hegley, is this guy. He's got 3-star potential, so we'll check in with him again at the end of each season. And the return of one of the heroes of home, Nathan Curry, is back in the world of LOLLUJO. He is a left winger, 16 years old with 2.5-star potential. We'll check in on those players at the end of every season, as well as any new channel member players that appear as well. Right, what we need to do now is start getting some of these free players in on trial, scouting some of these players who presumably are being released by Premier League clubs. So we need to get those scouted, because they're the players who we're going to be looking to bring in on trial as well. It's going to be a summer of free transfers. I don't want to go too over the top, because I don't want to ruin dynamics. And obviously we have had a good team this year, but as we've already seen, the creative heart of it is potentially being ripped out, and we are taking a step up in division. So we are going to need to do some business whilst keeping an eye on dynamics and not messing this up. So let's do some scouting, get some trials in, and really, because it's a non-league free transfer summer, a lot of what comes now is going to be waiting for the 1st of July, because there's not a lot of movement we can do until we know if and who we're going to get from Premier League released players when they come in on trial. So I'm going to try not to do too much business too early, because it's very easy to go and sign 3 players on £1,000 a week and just blow my entire budget in one go, which would be a really bad idea. Well, now the playoffs are concluded, we can confirm that Kidderminster are going to be joining us in the National League next year, and all of the divisional awards and things have gone out. So Adam Marriott wins Conference North Player of the Year. He's also won the Golden Boot as well. Manager of the Year, I mean, can I vote for myself? Do I like any of this lot? No. So who got the lowest win ratio? I'll vote for him. I can't vote for Lee Clark. I have previous with him in real life, from when he was Huddersfield manager. So we'll go for the next guy. Give myself a better chance to win it. We have a 2-year stadium sponsorship deal. I wonder what the new stadium, or what the stadium is now called. Not a new stadium. We have our new scouting budget, which is only giving us enough money to continue scouting the National League North and South. So we can't afford to scout the league we're going to be going into. There's some important context for you. When we look at the amount of players, the calibre of players we're going to be bringing in, we actually can't afford to scout the league we're in. So this is going to be an interesting summer. My voting antics work. I am the National League North Manager of the Year. And in other news, I don't think I've mentioned this, I have been working on coaching badges throughout the season. They've already put me through my National A licence. They're now putting me through my Continental C licence, which is excellent. Need to work on my reputation. But I guess winning titles and winning Manager of the Year awards, that's how you work on a reputation. So thanks for the kind words, Rob. Thanks. First signing of the summer is sorted. It's expensive, but goodness me, is it an important one. Alfie Payne is joining on a 2-year permanent contract. Yes, we're paying him £750 a week to do it, but he was our best player by a mile last year. He's already gone back to Norwich. He's just ridiculously good. We know how good Alfie Payne is. He joins us on the 1st of July. That means at the moment, with him and with the contract renewals that we're currently going through, we're going to be hitting about half of our budget. The renewals, the players that we're currently renewing, why does this keep defaulting back to not right? Does it show on here who we're renewing? No. I mean, you can imagine who it is. It's the guys at this end. Kenyon, Danaher, Aaron Sibia, Smith. Marriott was already renewed. Anyone pretty much from Marriott down probably isn't going to get a new contract unless they've got loads of potential. That's not sorted by ability. There we go. Now it is. Same rules apply. Anyone from probably Danaher, Macaulay, mate. In fact, Aaron Sibia. Aaron Sibia has been offered a new contract. I haven't offered one to Barrows, and I think everybody from Barrows down, he's probably going to be leaving. I think that's probably fair. But Payne's in. Second signing of the summer complete. Charlie Carter is going to be with us on loan again for next season. We're only paying him 10% of his wages, so £100 a week. And this year, we haven't got him with any position expectations, so it doesn't matter that we're going to play him in central midfield. Stevenage have clearly given up on him being an attacking midfielder. I think I'll start playing him there. We have also tried to extend the loan of Ben Stevens. However, when I went to do it, Macclesfield are not willing to allow this player to leave on loan due to the poor relationship that exists between the staff at both clubs. I promised to play him as a striker when we got him before and played him as an attacking midfielder, and it's upset them and they won't let us have him now. So you have to be careful not to upset the teams too much, even though inexplicably Stevenage fine with what I did to Carter all season. Talking of Stevenage, do have a former Stevenage man on trial at the moment, Danny Newton, as a striker option. He is apparently better than any striker we've got at the club. High work rate, which I like, would be a leading player for most National League sides, which I like. What I'm less keen on is his goal-scoring record, although to be fair, for the last 3 years, that's been in League 2. When he was playing at the level we were at last year, most recently, he was scoring goals as consistently as Marriott, but he's 29 and turns 30 over the course of the season. I don't know if I want to be playing two 30-year-old strikers by the end of the season, especially if they're fairly similar kinds of player. If we just compare him to Marriott, which for some reason he's not showing on there. Where is he? Marriott. So if we do a comparison, I mean, we've not fully scouted Danny Newton, which is troubling, bearing in mind we've got him here on trial, but we're still just getting ranges. But I don't know. Do I want a 29-year-old? How much money is he going to want? Well, I'm not going to make him vice captain. I'm not going to give him a big pay rise. See how much money he actually wants. See, that's... I'd rather have a young striker, I think. We're not going to go for him just yet. We've got some friendlies arranged as well. It's almost the 1st of July, at which point we can start looking at youngsters released from Premier League teams who hopefully will start to appear. I mean, we've certainly had a few that have been scouted over... No, not discard list. We've got a few who are already being scouted. If we have a look at Payne's obviously already coming in. Connor Stanley has come up on my scout reports. Veteran of non-league to legend last year. So we'd love to bring Connor Stanley in, even though we don't play as wingers. So there are a few of these youngsters who will definitely be coming in on trial very, very soon. We'll be asking my director of football for advice on potential trialists too. The one thing I won't be doing is just going on player search and getting a list of all the free transfers. That's not allowed on the non-league to legend rules. If you don't understand why that's the case, there's an intro video to the series that you should go back and watch, because that explains the rules in depth. I know newcomers are always a little bit confused about why I don't sign as many players as I could, or the players I sign aren't as good as they could be. That's why I'm restricted by what I can do to make the game more of a delightful challenge. Have we moved up to a National League scouting package? Fair enough. Apparently, our budget now matches that. I didn't even do that. That must have just been as the new season started, it ticked over. So we can now scout the league we're in, which is an improvement on where I thought we were going to be. 2 more loan extensions complete. Both Kelman and Fellaini are going to be coming back next year. It just seemed silly not to in the circumstances. Charlie Kelman, still only 18 years old, 4-star current ability. He's going to be a championship player in the future. He might not have been sensational for us so far, but he's young and he's only going to get better. And he's cheap. He's going to cost us £20 a week. Fellaini, even cheaper, not costing us anything at all. He's been off playing for Australia or Australia B in the Copa America, which I don't really understand. Someone explain to me how this works, but he's just scored a goal in the Copa America. Where are we? I think he scored against Chile in that game. So he's playing international football against good teams. Why are Australia in the Copa America and why is it only their B team? I don't understand. But either way, Fellaini's having a good summer. And again, he's He's right up there with Kelman as slightly better than Adam Marriott. Marriott, there's always the question as whether or not he's going to be able to make the step up to the division above. And if he can't, we've got Kelman and Falemi there, who theoretically are already a little bit better than him and have the potential to go way past him over the course of the season, because they're both described as being potential future championship players. So we could have like a League One or League Two strike partnership on our hands by the end of the season that's costing us almost nothing. Seems silly not to. Almost there at the 1st of July now. In fact, it is the 1st of July. We've had a couple of players depart. Jarvis has retired after a long and delightful career that I ruined the final year of by never playing him. But that's some money straight into our wage bill, because I think he was on about £300 a week. We've also released 6 players. Gash, Fox, Kelly, Richards, Lim and Ross Barrows have all left the club on free transfers. There are contracts due to expire next summer. I'm not going to be offering any new contracts at this stage. You can see there's a couple that I did extend for a year. Watkins, Flat, Marriott. I'm not going to offer any of them extensions because I don't know if they're going to make the step up yet. Staff, same thing. Not going to get involved in making those extensions yet. But if we just hit continue one more time, we should see the arrival of Alfie Payne, at which point that is our 1st of July squad complete, and we can have a look at what we've got. There he is. There he is, look. He's in as a permanent signing. So now we can have a look at our team report and see what we've got knocking about the place and where we need to strengthen. So, firstly, don't need to sign a striker. We've got Falemi, Kelman, Marriott, Danaher and Kennedy all here for the new season. We're good for strikers. We're also good for attacking midfielders. Carter, Aaron Sibier, although to be fair, if Carter ends up playing in midfield, which he's likely to do at the moment because we don't have any other options there, Aaron Sibier maybe is only a backup player at this level with potential to improve, but we could perhaps bring in Ben Stevens' replacement to go as our attacking midfielder. We definitely need a couple of central midfielders. We need a backup left back. We need a couple of right wing backs. And we need probably 3 or 4 centre backs. Smith, I think I've got confidence in to come up to this level. Fryatt and Macaulay, not so much, maybe. They've obviously come through back-to-back promotions with the club and might not be ready to make this step up. Fryatt is a leading player for the division below, which means he might be all right at this level. Macaulay, though, he's 30 years old. I guess similar sort of thing. I don't mind having Fryatt and Macaulay as backups. Tom Ward needs to leave. He's on a non-contract, so I'm not going to force him out, but we're certainly not going to be using him. But I think we need a couple of centre-backs to work with Smith, have Fryatt and Macaulay as our backups, and then Flat and Watkins are happy with them as the 2 goalkeeper choices for this season. So priorities are centre-backs, central midfielders, wing-backs. See what we can find. So first things first, if we head to our scouting section, and just anybody who's now out of contract is going to get a trial. So expired contracts, Connor Stanley, top of the list. Look, Kelleher, who we tried to get on loan last year, we knew how good he was going to be. He's available. So he's definitely... no! Oh, no. I didn't want to hit continue. He's definitely worth a scout trial. So let's get anyone who's any good on here in on trial. Let's give them, let's say 3 weeks, should be long enough to decide if they're any good. Kelleher, I'm particularly interested in. Connor Stanley as well, even though we don't play with wingers. For nostalgia, I kind of want Connor Stanley. The other thing I'm going to do is go to my director of football and say to him, we want free transfers in the positions that we want them, and then just go through and get suggestions for these as well. So this is something, I think this fits in with the realism that we do in Non-League to Legend, because I think it's completely reasonable for me to have a chat with my director of football and say, who do you reckon then? Who have you got your eye on? So those ones certainly are players who are also going to get a trial, but we can't offer them all a trial as a group, so we've got to go through and do it individually. So I'll do that. We'll see who ends up on trial, and when we've got some trialists in, we'll have a look to see who we want to make offers for. Money-wise, we've got plenty. We're only spending half our budget at the moment, so we could bring in a good 6 or 7 players probably on decent money, which should be enough to finish the squad off, hopefully. Right, all the trialists that are going to come in are in. Kelleher, very upsettingly, not interested. Tried to sign him permanently, and it said he wasn't interested in playing in the conference. I've now asked my director of football to try and sign him, but I suspect we're not going to get him. He's probably a little bit too good for us. But we have got lots of other talent who have arrived at the club. If we start at the back, there's an entire back three that have turned up. We've got wing backs here. We've got central midfielders. We've got attacking midfielders. It's now a case of making sure we stick within the budget. So we've got £5,000 of committed spending, effectively £9,000 in the budget. So we can afford to spend £4,000 a week on players, but we need to be very careful which ones we pick, because I suggest some of these are going to be really quite expensive. Right, he's 31, he's 20, so the 20-year-old trumps the 31-year-old all day long, and a 19-year-old. So I'm already thinking those two as youngsters, if we can get them. So Akin Odemeo, who's a 4.5-star current ability, 5-star potential ability centre-back, 6 feet tall, already at National League level, potential to be a League One defender in future, was previously at Reading. How much can we get him for? That's the question, whether we're not going to be able to afford him. £300 a week. Wow. Okay. Yes, please. Come and play for me. Thank you. Let's try this guy. Deshaun Bernard, 19-year-old centre-back, 6'2", even taller. Lovely stuff. Not quite as good currently. Similar potential. Currently a League Two defender, apparently, according to my 2 out of 20 judging ability coach. So he must be right. Potential to be a League One defender in future. Better than Smith, which is important. Previously of both Manchester United and Chelsea. That's some decent pedigree. Let's try and bring him in as well. £425 a week. Again, seems completely reasonable. What we can't be doing is paying signing on fees because we don't have any money. I hope we didn't offer that last guy a signing on fee. Did anyone notice a signing on fee? Liam Hogan, we're going to sit and wait. If we don't get either of those two, then he's someone we might look at. But I'm not really interested in bringing in old men if I can avoid it. Right wing back then is another area where we desperately need to strengthen. James Clark is a natural there. That would be a perfect signing. 18 years old, 4.5-star current ability, 5-star potential ability, already a good National League player, could be championship quality in future, previously of Chelsea. See, these are exactly the kind of players we want. He's pretty quick as well. If we can get him in, he's definitely someone we want to be bringing in. Reasonable price, signing on fee, done. We're not paying those. I don't mind promotion wage rises because I think the likelihood of us getting promoted in the next 2 years is fairly slim. And if we do, I don't mind paying the pay rise. So I'm just going to go through the rest of these options. In fact, there aren't many. We may as well do it with you here. Divine is 22 years old. He is a good central midfielder already. The one problem is we can't... Okay, he's a ball-winning central midfielder. Not fully trialled, not fully scouted yet. Previously of Bradford. I just want to get these players in quick because I can't imagine we're going to be the only people after them. See, this is what I was worried about. We'd hit stuff like that. I mean, he's very good, but do we want to pay that kind of money for him? I mean, will he want to come for that kind of money, I guess, is the other question. We're not offering him that. We'll take that down to that. What else is he trying to get in? No, we're not doing match highest earner clauses. So we could potentially get him, but he's going to cost a lot of money. I'm going to finalise the deal for now, but I'm certainly not going to put that deal through until I know that we can afford him. He looks like he's going to be a little bit of a luxury in there, but look how good he is. He's better than Alfie Payne, apparently. So potentially a luxury worth having. Davis, we've already offered a contract to, haven't we, as a wing-back, or did we ignore him? So he's a central midfielder who can play wing-back as well. That is my kind of signing. He's quick. He'd be almost... I mean, he'd be a starter if we didn't sign Divine in central midfield, and he'd be competition on that right-hand side. Comes via Brighton. Is he maybe a slightly cheaper option than Divine? No, he's just as expensive. We've hit the expensive ones now, it seems. That needs to come out as well. You're not having a signing on fee. You're a kid. What do you need a £4,000 signing on fee for goodness sake? What are you going to spend £4,000 on at your age? My word. Who's he? 19 years old. I'm looking for someone who's a little bit cheaper, really. Connor Parsons is via... See, he's another Norwich guy, so he's going to know pain. So hopefully he'll want to come in for cheap. See, this is more like it. This is what we're after. So we'll offer him a deal. just because he's going to know his mate, and then we don't want an old man. And then lastly, let's have a look at an attacking midfielder. McInnes is a 19-year-old Irish attacking midfielder who can also play as a striker and in central midfield. Capped at under 19 level, better than Charlie Carter as an attacking midfielder. Another one who's got potential to play in the Championship. Comes from Arsenal. Is he going to be cheap? He is. Let's take that out and offer him that deal. Is there anyone else super cheap in here? He can play as winger. The one who obviously we've not offered a deal to is Connor Stanley because he's a winger. I really want him, but we can't justify Connor Stanley if we're not going to play with wingers. How much is he going to be? I shouldn't be doing it. This is literally against the rules of Non-League to Legend. He's a player I know from a previous series. And he doesn't fit into my system. How much would you be, Connor? No. I can't justify it because we're not going to use him. Right. Now, we wait and see how many of those lads actually join us and how many end up going somewhere else because they're all very talented. I'll be back in a moment. Right, we've confirmed the signings of most of them. I'm sure the eagle-eyed amongst you would have noticed that apparently we were supposed to pay a fee for Divine, £135,000. I don't really understand why. Because he's still at Bradford, even though he's out of contract. So we'd have to pay... I guess that means they've offered him a deal. So we'd have to pay compensation, which we can't afford to do. So we'll keep an eye on him. If he's released by them, we'll go in for him again. But we couldn't afford to pay the actual fee for him. Lewis Landers has gone to Whitby as well. We put him on a non-contract. He's the goalkeeper, the backup goalkeeper we signed last summer. And we put him on a non-contract and immediately Whitby have swooped. Similar situation happening with Danaher as well. He's on a non-contract deal with us now and Tunbridge have come in and made an offer. I'm not going to be devastated if he leaves because we've got a lot of good options ahead of him. But equally, I'd quite like to keep him around because he did a good job for us last year. But we can now confirm the signings along with Payne of Connor Parsons, the youngster from Norwich, James Clark, the wing-back, Odimeo, one of the centre-backs, Bernard, the other centre-back, McInnes, the attacking midfielder who can also play basically anywhere in attack, up front, midfield. He can play wide. It makes me want to sign Connor Stanley just in case we decide to switch to a winger system. We could stick McInnes on one side and Stanley on the other, and then Archie Davis, the central midfielder who can also provide cover at wing-back for us, comes in as well. So our team report now looks like this. We've got about £500 left in our budget. We don't need a 27-year-old striker. He's not as good as what we've got. So we're sorted for strikers, sorted for attacking midfielders, sorted in central midfield, really. I mean, it would be nice to bring one more in. If it's not Divine, maybe George Glendon, who's 25 years old. I mean, at 25, do I want to be bringing someone in who's just cover? Probably not. It's a vacancy we can probably leave in the squad. Centre-back wise, Odimeo, Bernard and Smith as starters. The two from last year, Fright and Macaulay, can be our backup. I don't think we need to bring Hogan in. Clark and Davis are fine for our wing-back cover. We've, of course, got Carter in central midfield as well. Let's not forget about him. We do need another left wing back, though, to provide cover for Kenyon. So we've got £500 a week left in our budget at the moment. We can't really afford Divine, even if the option came up to sign him. Kelleher has turned us down again via my director of football. But what I would like is just to see, is there anyone who looks like a left wing back that we could potentially bring in? We already asked my director of football and he gave us this guy who's at Northampton. Let's try again to get him in on... Oh, we already offered him a trial. I wonder if there's anyone on loan. I don't really want to waste a loan on someone who's presumably going to be a backup. There isn't anyone anyway. Left back is a position we need to strengthen. I shall keep looking. So it seems the media have made us fourth favourites for promotion, which seems excessive. Newly promoted, board looking for mid-table. Fourth favourites. Payne is in the media 11, the media dream 11, which is, I mean, that's awesome. We've got the best midfielder in the division. Maybe we are going to get promoted again. Well, I think the squad is now finished. Brandon Fleming is a left wing back who's joined us on loan from Hull until the end of the season. 4.5-star current ability. He's costing us £700 a week in wages, which does use up all of our remaining wage budget. Puts us slightly over, but hopefully not over enough for it to be a big deal. And he is a player that we really, really needed. Considerably better than Jake Kenyon, apparently, on that left-back position. Would cost around £5 million to buy. But that is... Hold on, this is what I'm aiming for. This is our team report now. With him in, you can see we've got some decent strength in depth in every position. The question now just becomes, are these players actually good enough? And I guess that's what we're going to find out. The media seem to think they are. Adam Marriott is 5th favourite for top scorer in the division. We've already seen that Payne is in the media 11. So maybe mid-table isn't that unrealistic. We shall see. But I think we are, like I say, we're done now. I certainly can't bring anyone else in. If my director of football wants to find me some freebie loans, I won't object. Not that we particularly need anything in any position, but I certainly can't get away with spending any more without being told off severely. And in fact, there was no more business. That is the summary of our summer. So I've not gone crazy. I'm proud of myself for not going mad for bringing in loads of players. I think we've definitely strengthened the squad in areas we needed to strengthen. We're not a million miles away from where our wage budget should be. And the board seem completely happy with the wage budget to be where it is. So we're doing all right there. So now it's just a case of seeing if we can finish mid-table, or as the media seem to think we've got as an option. Where are they saying now? Still 4th. And we've now got 2 players in the Dream 11. Fleming comes in as the left back in the media Dream 11 as well. So maybe we are a good side. Let me know down in the comments where you think we'll finish in this upcoming season, and also what you think of the transfers. Would you have strengthened in the same areas? Is there anywhere, looking at that squad depth, where you think we probably do need to strengthen over the course of the season? And maybe even who's your starting 11 based on who we've got there? Because it's pretty clear from that Kelman and Falemi are better than Marriott. Do we dare go with that after what we saw from both of them last season? But let me know down in the comments what you think, and we'll be back tomorrow with the first couple of games of the new season. So if you've enjoyed this transfer special, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Remember, we're still trying to hit 2,000 likes an episode, so let's push it up to 2,000 likes if it's not already there. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos, and thank you very much for watching.